Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is the brother Amawan Raha, back with another lesson, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. And as always, we start with that, and then we give double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the elect, the 144,000. And also blessings upon the great multitude destined for salvation, the men and women who listen and learn to these words and believe on them, man. So so just gonna get into this, man. The world is losing it, man. The world's going crazy. People have it's been warming up to this. This is the further proof that we're in the end time, right? Because the world is just going crazy, and the governments are beginning to be exposed, for what they truly are, man. Which is corrupt, and that's everywhere. Why? Because the corruption is all about control and money, and that corruption is going to bring about, or is going to have them, the governing bodies, which is really the elites, attempting to bring about their new world order, man. Which is not going to happen, by the way, because in order for that to happen, they must gain full control of the world, man, and they won't, because the elect are not going to fall into the trap of the MOTB, which is a major part of this new world order, man. That control, that's the controlling factor. Controlling the pockets and the purses and the wallets of the people, man. And basically, we're coming to a time where these politicians, it's so, the veil is being lifted, man. It's so obvious what they're up to, even the blind can see. People aren't having it anymore. Why? Because people are poor. People are out on the streets. People can't eat. People can't heat their houses. They can't afford to feed their children. While they're watching the rich get richer. There's the story, there's a saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, man. The divide between the elite rich and everybody else now is unbelievable. They used to call it the 5%, now it's just the 1%, man. So we're going to look at this. This is the Global Protest Tracker. You can find this if you just type that in. Carnegie Endowment for National Peace. And it says a one-stop source for following crucial trends and the most significant anti-government protests worldwide since 2017. And this was last updated at the beginning of this month, so it's pretty much on point. So it says in the last 12 months, over 160 significant anti-government protests have erupted worldwide. In the last 12 months, 73 countries have experienced significant protests, and this is one in the middle spotlight. It says on April 30th, Mali's military junta announced they plan to extend the junta's rule until 2030 and dissolve all political parties in the country. So that's just basically having one controlling factor, man. So that's just a small example of how the new world order can affect by having that one singular control. It says there are currently 33 active protests. In the last 12 months, more than 28 significant protests have occurred in countries that are not free. Well, no one's free at the end of the day. We're all slaves to this system, man. Why? Because we all have to get up and go to work, unless we're of that rich number, the elite, super wealthy and powerful. We all have to have jobs, we all have to pay the bills. We have no choice in those things, otherwise we won't survive, we won't be able to eat, man. We will have to pay taxes, which is, taxation is theft, man. That's against the scriptures, man. usury as well, man. Loans and paying interest on them. So we're a slave to the system. In order to get by in this system, you have to get credit, man. You get credit to buy your house, you get credit to buy your vehicle, you get credit, just to do certain things in life, man. And you have to be of a certain stature, a certain level to get credit. Let's just check. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but we'll just go and see what's going on in the world. Afghanistan, the women's rights protest. Well, that's because the Western world has got to them women over there, man. They're coming over here now, and not just over here, over to the Europe and the United States. Well, we are in part of, well, we're not actually part of the European Union anymore, but understand what I'm saying. Over this side, you'd be deemed European. And look, women's rights protests, man, right there. So that's because of that indoctrination, that Western wine that they've been drinking, that been guzzling down when they're coming over to the other side of the world, and they're taking that shit back over to their country. Because at least in these so-called Middle Eastern countries, man, they're trying to keep things like the old ways, man, because the old ways work. The old path, man. The scripture says to, in fact, let me see if I can get that. Where is it? Is it the old path? Yeah. Let me get another. I've got some lined up. I've got some on deck, man. So I want to get those in a bit. But for now, we'll go here. There's no point quoting the scriptures when they're right here, man. Jeremiah 6:16, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls." But they said, we will not walk therein. Right. So these Middle Eastern, so-called Middle Eastern, we want to walk like these westernized women, man. And you see how they move, man. Nothing but harlots, man. Harlots and gold diggers and career driven and spiteful, wicked, evil, man. Hard, no softness to them, no gentleness like a woman should be. I'm going to talk a bit about this, man. I'll get some scriptures, try and get some scriptures in. What else have we got? Electoral protests, because there's corruption in these elections, man. People are getting put in positions because they're corrupt anyway. So they're using these corrupt politicians to keep things moving. And when I say they, I'm talking about the elite. They're the ones that are sending these wars, creating these wars, and installing their own leaders in countries. They're trying to do that with Iran right now. That's what that's all about. So they can pop their little westernized central bank in there, man. Them so-called JOOs, man. Those small hats. They're part of that. And what else you got? Corruption and rising price protests, because they're trying to throw this world into disarray. They want what do they want? They want economic crashes, man. Why? Once again, the MOTB, man. They need to make money, cash money, whatever's left of it. Their definition of it. They want to make it obsolete, man. That's what they're trying to do. What else have we got? So I can just trying to do something while I'm trying to do something here. Right, what else have we got? Pension protests, places they're cutting pensions or making you have to work even longer, man, before you can actually claim it, before you can retire. Wicked ass people, man. There was a time when you'd have to be like 60 years old and you could retire. Then they started raising it. Now you got to be near on 70 years old, man. In certain places. Piss take, man. In Argentina, federal march of anti-fascist and anti-racist pride. Yeah, because now these Edomite devils are getting emboldened because certain people across the world are starting to show their arse, man. basically letting you know what they're all about. Economic crisis process, IMF deal process, international monetary, was it fund or foundation? I can't remember. Let's see. I don't want to make a mistake on that. Let's just get it right. Let's have it right. IMF. Right, that's the International Monetary Fund. We won't go into that, but I just want to make it right. Right, let's get back to this, man. Also, we've got austerity. This is all in Argentina anyway. That's all in Argentina, man. Look at what's going on. Azerbaijan, Bangladesh. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on in Babylon, man. I have to skip down faster than that. Where is it? I keep forgetting this is a touchscreen. There we go. Well, let's get. We're in the United Kingdom. Let's have a look at through them. Look, trans rights. So there you go, man. That's. Look, we're not gonna go there. This is rigged protests, obviously corruption. A lot of the things over here are folly, man. I mean, look at it. Extinction Rebellion. Stop oil and all that bollocks, man. Black Lives Matter. Yeah, and some of these are old, granted. Take back our borders, because that racial tension is high, man. These people out here protesting to kill babies. Look, abortion access protests, man. Police brutality protests. This is in the Babylon, obviously. But anyway, man, you get the idea. The world is full of it right now, man. And it ain't going away. It's going to get worse, man. But anyway, let's get the scriptures, man. Let's get 2nd Ezra first, man. 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, for there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Sedition. What does that mean? It means uprising, man. That's what's happening right now. The uprisings are happening, and they want this to happen. Let's get that right. These elite, man. But remember, their motto is order out of chaos, man. That's how they move. You remember when what's his name? I can't remember his name now. That guy, one of the elites, man. Shit, my brain gone. Let me see if I can. It might come to me. Right, yeah, he's Rockefeller. That's it, David Rockefeller. There you go. What did he say? All that we need is a right major crisis, and nations will accept the new world order. I'm not going to get into that, man, but that's the point. All right, that's what they need, man. Where was that now? At 2nd Ezra, man. Yeah, so the uprisings are important because in order to get control, they need to bring in new rules. So when people start raising up and riling up, and there's sedition among men, and there's rioting in the streets and protests and violence and destruction, they'll start hitting up the martial law, making new laws, curfews and all of that. You can't go into a city, It says there, man, verse 17, man, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbour, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. So it's going to get peak out here, man. No. I know I've got that already, slacking. Right, this is what I want. Proverbs 29:2 says, when the righteous are in authority, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. The wicked are bearing rule, man. That's why the world is. Look, it's only the people that are dumbed down, eating GMOs and their pineal gland is fucked. I'm just gonna say it like that, so they can't see the big picture. All they can see is, what's in front of their nose, and the entertainment and the mirth and the merriment. Alright, and sometimes you can understand that because it's an escape. It's a way to escape, man. But ultimately, now's not the time for that, man. Now's the time to be focused. Keep your eye on what these devils are doing, man. That's what's happening. The wicked beareth rule, man. So the people are mourning. That's what the whole world is up in arms, man. Up in arms. But you can't defeat this machine out there. That's why we as Israelites have to wait for Yahweh Shai, man. Alright? Simple as that. Alright, let's go here. Let's just get these scriptures out anyway, man. This is Jeremiah 23:5. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Right? So that's not only is that showing you that there's going to be righteousness upon the earth, man, but it says a righteous branch, right? So that's showing you that King David's son, King Solomon, is Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai is the one who's going to reign and prosper and going to execute judgment and justice in the earth. King Solomon didn't do that. He went off, man. As Yahweh Shai, as Solomon went off, he didn't fulfill this prophecy. All right, he was the wisest, but he didn't fulfill this prophecy, man. Right? He says, in his days Judah shall be saved. So there you go. So Judah's not saved yet, and Judah wasn't saved when King Solomon, Yahweh Shai in the reincarnation was on the scene, man. And Israel shall dwell safely, and this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children out of Israel, out of the land. The Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord, Yahweh, liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. So look, it says, but the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel. I mean, this is about a bloodline, man. Alright, those that say it isn't, they can fuck off, man. Alright, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm not going to mince my words on that, man. I'm in that kind of that mood, man. Right? And it says, from the north country, that's Babylon, man. That's America. Right? And from all countries whither I have driven them. Isaiah 11:10 reading down, man. Read that. I'm not going to read it. You can read that. It says, I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. So that's what we're waiting for, man. Right? That's what we're waiting for. Let's read this, man. This is continuing on that prophecy, man. It says a glorious future. It says Isaiah 32:1. It says, behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. So that's the problem. There's no righteousness and there's no judgment here, man. The laws are back to front, and and the criminals and the wicked don't face proper judgment, man. Here it is, Jakes are getting locked up for smoking marijuana, and Edomite pedophiles, are getting a few months in prison in some instances, man. That's factual. There was an heir to some massive global company, years back, that was, I think it was a member of his own family. He essayed them, and he only got a few months, man. Some Edomite college student essayed some other student, and the judge let him off because he didn't want to destroy his future. Well, what about the girl's future, man? So this place is wicked, man. Those are just examples, to make a point. Verse 2 says, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. What else did I have? No, I've read that. So what is this one? No, what am I doing? I had something else I wanted to read, man, but I can't find it. Or did I get it? No, this is it, man. I didn't finish this. So this is why I didn't finish this, did I? So no, I didn't even read it. So let me just check this. Yeah, I didn't read it. Psalm 72:1, it says, Give the king thy judgments, O Yahweh, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. Who's the king's son, man? Yahweh Shah, Solomon. Yahweh Shiloh in the reincarnation, man. It says, he shall judge thy people with righteousness, and thy poor with judgment. The mountains shall bring peace to the people, and the little hills by righteousness. The mountains, that's the governing body, man. 144,000, man. They're going to govern and judge the 12 tribes of Israel, which won't even need judgment because they're going to be in their right minds, right? But to judge really doesn't just mean to pass down a harsh judgment. Judgment can be good or bad, man, or harsh or kind. You see, remember, people don't often think about that. It says, verse 4 says, he shall judge the poor of the people, and he shall save the children of the needy, and shall break in pieces the oppressor. That's us. The needy is us, man. And the oppressor is who? Esau, Edom, man. The elites, especially. Verse 5 says, they shall fear thee as long as the sun and moon endure throughout all generations. So that's the future for the heathens, man. Listen, first and foremost, the Edomites are going to be done away with after a certain time, but the rest of the heathens are still going to be living in fear. Don't think they're going to be living all sweet and that, and not worrying about nothing. They're going to be worrying about our judgment over them, starting with Yahweh Shah, King David, the governing body of Israel, man, 144,000. Yeah, man. They're going to be on eggshells, man, because they're still going to be going off. And we're going to be there to kick their asses and put them back in order, man. You know what I mean? What was that? Verse 6: he shall come down like rain upon mown grass, as showers that water the earth. In his days shall the righteous flourish, and abundance of peace, so long as the moon endures. So forever. The moon the heavenly bodies are not going anywhere, man. Alright? The scripture said the Lord put them there for signs and the seasons and for generations forever, man, forever. Right? Verse 8 says, He shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. They that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust. The kings of Tarshish and of the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts. Yea, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him. Right, so this is talking about Yahushua, because this didn't happen to... listen, not to say that Solomon didn't get tributaries and all of that, but it wasn't like that, man. It wasn't really worldwide where the whole world earth was under the reign of Israel, because that would have been the case. So what have I just done? Alright, I want to finish here anyway. Verse 11 says, all kings shall fall down before him, and all nations shall serve him, for he shall deliver the needy when he crieth, the poor also, and him that hath no helper. He shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save the souls of the needy. He shall redeem their soul from the deceit and violence, and precious shall their blood be in his sight. And he shall live, and to him shall be given the gold of Sheba. Prayer also shall be made for him continually, and daily shall he be praised. There shall be an handful of corn in the earth upon the top of the mountains. The fruit thereof shall shake like Lebanon, and they of the city shall flourish like the grass of the earth. So, we're going to be flourishing, man. I always say this, these Christians that imagine like a magical way in the kingdom where we're just going to have everything we want, by the snap of the fingers, which we can, but we're going to make these heathens build it up like they made us do it, man. And we're going to sit back every day doing what we want to do, right, in righteousness, what we want to do, peacefully, man, right, no worries, pure bliss and happiness, pure peace. We've never known that, man. We've never known pure peace, pure happiness, pure safety. His name shall endure forever. His name shall be continued as long as the sun, and men shall be blessed in him. All nations shall call him blessed. Blessed be the Lord Yahweh, the power of Israel, who only doeth wondrous things. And blessed be his glorious name forever. And let the whole earth be filled with his glory, aman and aman. The prayers of David, the son of Jesse, are ended. So I'm going to end it on that, So, yeah, man, it's going to get worse, but righteousness is going to come upon the earth, man. And it's very much needed, because these devils out here are ruining this place in every way possible, man. They're ruining the minds of the people, the minds, the spirits, the bodies, the land, the food, the animals. Everything's mourning. Even the animals are mourning, man. So yeah, man, we just we hearken to this, and we tarry not, man. We pray for the swift return of Yahushua, man. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, B'Hashem Rachah HaKadosh. Double honors, as always, to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. They rule well, man. But because they rule by the scriptures. And peace and blessings to the elect, man. Shalom.